The saddest feeling nowadays that all my dreams are much too far away. Sometimes the nights got me aching, working hours in the cold. And I can't imagine how it feels to end up where you feel you had to go. I've been lost, starving, praying nothing else will go wrong. I guess we're all dying, waiting for the world to lose control. Could you tell me what it's really like to feel like you've got the world by your side? Trust me, babe, I've done my good. Give all I had and a little more than I should. Got the sense that I ain't made for much, 'cause what I feel is never understood. But I guess I take another day just to get in.
Welcome to WYCD Wicked. That stands for What You Can Do. Oh, that hair. Too much of it, folks. I don't know how people have long hair. Oh, I'll need the hippies to give me some advice. One of these days, I will get around to going to the barber or the kindly farmer with some sheep shears. They can just buzz this down. Usually, this is about the time of year I get so frustrated with personal grooming that I just buzz it all. And I do try to warn people ahead of time. This will be the second year in a row that I've done that. That it is not, in fact, a breakdown. The breakdown's just kind of always constantly happening slowly. No. It is a mere frustration with human biology that we are all saddled with. How are you doing? It's fight night. At least a version of it. Gavin Newsom, as well as Ron DeSantis, two governors of very different states, two very different governors of very different states, are going to debate. And we be trying to pirate it later, because I don't believe it's worth giving Fox News any of your doubloons. For discussion between politicians. It's the people's business. It's not for private enterprise to thieve off of. It should be publicly available. That said, if you'd like to support this stream, we're not the ads are off. Turn them off. So you can do the best way, frankly, as of now, to support is through the use of super chats if you got a spare few bucks, because it also tells YouTube that this is a money-making venture and thus gigs us a little bit in the algorithm. But if you're not comfortable giving YouTube your money, you want to give it all to your old pal Jake, I cannot complain. I really can't with that logic. So we now have another way you can support, which is, of course, by deeding me. I was gonna make some incredibly dark joke about uh, engaging in crime with me. No, coffee. KOFI. We have a coffee page now. If you'd like to buy me a coffee, I pay a monthly fee to the folks over at Coffee. It is very reasonable. And as a result of that fee, I get all of the donations you choose to give through Coffee. So if you are more comfortable donating that way, which I believe Patrick Thibodeau once upon a time said he would prefer to do, well, I finally got around to it. So now we have a Coffee page as well. The link to all the ways you can support is pinned in the description. Wasn't that fun? We are going early today, folks. Let's say hello to the gang. Rex Trek, hello. Pinkerbell, good to see you. Work with your hair texture, not against it, what you can do. This hair will do as I say, or it will be sundered by shears. I'm not going to take sass from my own head. Nonsense. That's what I had to learn, says Pinkerbell. That's fair enough. Rex Trek, I can predict Gavin Newsom will wipe the floor with him. Yes, he will. And the manner in which he does will be fascinating. Soul Life, we pay Fox News with our taxes. I hate it. Yeah, we need to undo that. I think that is probably our very next order of business. In the... I was going to say in 2025, in the second half of the Biden administration. But now that I think about it, in potentially the first half of a different Democratic administration. And as I say it, I'm also realizing that first order of business is getting the rest of the traitors. Trump is just the beginning. We need to clear out the rest of these punks. But still, it's up there. Rex Trek, here you go, Jake. I treated myself today to a mani-pedi. Ah, retirement. That sounds so wonderful. That's a very kind $10 super chat. Thank you very much, Rex Trek. I appreciate it. You are simultaneously funding my extravagant lifestyle. I don't want to brag, but I got the ramen noodles in the styrofoam cup today as opposed to the packet by itself. So I am kind of living luxurious. But you're simultaneously doing that and advertising for me via the algorithm. I appreciate it. Thank you. Wicked Foxy Dragon, thanking you. Your support is indeed appreciated, Rex Trek. I can't stress that enough. Thank you. Pinkerbell as well. Y'all are on it, and I appreciate it. The first commenter today, I can acknowledge, I can verify, was Wireless Mike. Wireless Mike was the first commenter today, getting us started in the algorithm, making the stream known. I very much appreciate it, and all of your comments. And to that end, let's do some news. I don't have anything terribly earth-shattering about this. I just want to point something out that other folks pointed out on the Majority Report Reddit. Very interesting place to see the news before the rest of the world gets it. But I want to point out that Netanyahu not only knows that the American people are chumps, but he makes plans based on that knowledge. Here it is in his own words. Yeah, this rotten scoundrel said this: I'm the only one who will prevent a Palestine state in Gaza, Judea, and Samaria. I'm the only one who can withstand U.S. pressure. I've known Biden for 40 years. And here's the key part. I know how to manage American public opinion. That's from Jonathan Toval. Sorry, folks, as we Americans stretch our minds out and acknowledge that the rest of the world exists, we are going to butcher your names, and I'm sorry. Let it be known at least that I'm taking a whack, an honest whack at saying it correctly. Jonathan Toval, I'm whether I've said your name correctly or not, I'm appreciative of the translation. Thank you. So again, I think the key thing to look at here is I know how to manage American public opinion. Archangel 1313 says, meaning he uses APAC influence to silence critics and flood the media with ridiculous amounts of propaganda. A house built on bullshit will not stand for long. I partially agree with Archangel 1313. I agree with the technique. I disagree with the idea that the house will not stand for long. It's going to stand for a very long time. It has stood. Let me say this again. It has stood for a very, very long time. We've had, in my lifetime, at least 20 years. 20 years of this nonsense. People not differentiating between Jews and Israelis. That would be like if people refuse to differentiate between things I do and all atheists. Or who's a well-known Christian broadcaster? All things done by Matt Walsh. Is he? I don't know. He doesn't seem very godly. Michael Knowles? He claims to be a Christian. I don't think he believes, but he claims to be a Christian. So that would be like if all things Michael Knowles did were automatically associated with Christianity as a whole. It's effed up. It's really effed up. But in America, we default to thinking like that. We default to confusing Hamas and the Palestinian people. They are not even remotely close to the same thing. They're not even the voice of the Palestinian people. They're just a group of thugs who happen to be in charge in that area because of Netanyahu. My point is, paint in the conversations that you have with your friends and family Netanyahu as the villain that he is. Make sure they know that he thinks they're dumb. Make sure they know that Netanyahu, not all Jews, not all of Israel, but Netanyahu thinks that they are gullible simpletons who can be taken advantage of for personal gain. Because that is the truth, and they ought to know the truth. Starting it off with an easy one. Let's see what the Wicked community has to say, and then we have a real fun one. I can't wait to get to it. Wicked Foxy Dragon, hey, can't really fault him. We allow him to get away with it. Exactly correct. Yes, he's not wrong. We have been chumps. We have been gullible. We have been dumb as hell, frankly. Willfully ignorant. It's not our fault. We were told to be. We existed in a culture where all this stuff was normalized. It's more about what we do now that we know. And give your friends and family a chance to know as well. Rextrack saw that. He's a piece of yeah, Israel's Trump. Yes, Rextrack. The once oppressed have themselves become the oppressors. Pinkerbell adding, it's gross. Ooh, boy. Sorry, I just saw a comment from Looney Tunes that made me very happy. The late Pat Robertson. Indeed. He's joined by some infamous company in hell. Ray Sandragon, indeed, with the heart. I appreciate that. And Bad Lefty with a very appropriate hashtag not all Jews. Exactly. Exactly. That's sort of, and that's the insidious part about it. We keep getting this. They retreat to say, I can't believe you'd say that about Jews as soon as you say something critical about them. And then it gives us the extra work of adding that breath of saying, not saying all Jews, saying this of, and then saying and specifying. Even though you started with it, you'd say Netanyahu is doing blank. I can't believe you'd say that against Jews. I'm not saying it's all Jews. I'm saying it's Netanyahu. But when it's clipped, it'll just be, I can't believe they said this about Jews. Let's go censure Rashida Tlaib. I stand by. By the way, take your censure, Rashida Tlaib. If that's what they're going to censure you over, okay. Then they're just demonstrating that our leadership are clowns. Let them be. You do you, Queen. I'm proud of you. It's possible. I joke about this all the time, but I'll be super serial for a second. It's possible Rashida Tlaib actually saw one of these things. I'm not going to spoil it. But her telephone town hall, the last one I listened to, was very specific. And it made me wonder, like, ooh, if not WYCD, a program like it might have found its way to her ears. I'm hoping. Who wants to watch Elon Musk squirm in the public spotlight? I do. So we gonna. Elon Musk, that dummy, he's back. You know, he's been like a less harmful version of Trump. You know, exposing what is wrong with America by doing an unsubtle version of the same scam that we've been falling for years and years and years and years and years. By being a little too greedy, just a little too obvious, just a little too, dumb. Elon Musk is having a little freak out on account of advertisers abandoning his site, Twitter, now X. But I think the nature of the freak out is more relating to his public perception. I think he knows that when X dries up, I'm not trying to dead name here, when X dries up, so will his fan base. He's not going to have people following him around Facebook or wherever the next thing is, Blue Sky, Mastodon, blah, 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 blah. He's not going to have people going on these things saying, ooh, Elon, you're so great. He's going to have to get used to being in crowds that are more representative of people's general opinion. And he'll be torn to shreds. I think that's what's making him sad, but I think he's definitely done playing with his new toy. He's done with Twitter, he's done with X, whatever. Sorry, I dead named it again. He's done with these things because the thrill is gone. He woke up and realized he was still divorced, and this is still a public embarrassment for him. And he still gets booed when he turns up in public.
What was that trip like? And obviously, you know that there's a public perception that, and you're clarifying this now, but there's a public perception that that was part of a apology tour, if you will. That this had been said online. There was all of the criticism. There was advertisers leaving. We talked to Bob Iger today.
I hope they stop.
You hope?
Don't advertise.
We're going to pause it right there. with this genius. So, the details don't really matter. He retweeted some anti-Semitic nonsense, but, I mean, how many times do we have to hear this? He's been doing racist and anti-Semitic stuff constantly. If you want to memorize what awful thing he said, yeah, go for it, but it's not going to change the fact that it's the sort of thing that a couple years ago, in 2014, it would have ended your public career. It would have meant that all of your public relations stuff had to be done through a specialist who released press releases, and you did nothing else. But we're in the era where you can just buy a social media platform, say the Jews are responsible for the problems of whites, and blah 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 blah. But after he said this thing, advertisers this time around, because it's a sensitive time for Jews and for Muslims, advertisers said enough. Enough. They were already leaving, frankly. There's just a new round of them saying they're leaving. But Elon Musk, sensitive at the various times he's been booed in public because he deserves it, because he is scum. Elon Musk has a little tantrum right here.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f*** yourself.
Just gonna pause right here. Look at this. Look at Andrew. Can't believe what he's hearing. Look at that. He's sitting next to the Frog King here. Utterly astounded by what he's just heard. Why is this such a big deal? Well, I mean, you can probably guess. X.com is a business. Other people's livelihoods rely on X.com. It has, employees. But Elon Musk, whose rich daddy ensured that he would never have to actually suffer consequences from things like a business collapsing, Elon Musk doesn't care about that. He's done playing with his toy. Doesn't matter to him that people's jobs are associated with it. So this man who is interviewing him will try to explain why it matters if you scare away all of your advertisers with racist shit.
But
Go f*** yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
well, let me ask you then.
That's how I feel. Don't advertise.
How do you think then about the economics of X?
He's trying to explain why businesses require an income to this guy who we decided is worth billions in our system.
If part of the underlying model, at least today, and maybe it needs to shift, maybe the answer is it needs to shift away from advertising. If you believe that this is the one part of your business where you will be beholden to those who have this view, what do you do?
F-Y.
I understand.
He really wanted that to be a big applause line, didn't he? Look at that. Look at he was really hoping people would be like, yeah, yeah. He really wants the insane cultists who are just like snorting fentanyl and then charging through the streets half naked, just so they can cackle with the chaos gods at the fall of humanity. He wanted those people, the psychopaths which think he's worth a damn, to applaud loudly. But if any of them are in the audience, they, like everyone else on Earth, had no fucking idea what he was trying to say.
F-Y.
I understand that, but there's a reality too.
No? Frog King, no.
right?
Yes. No.
I mean, Linda
no,
Yaccarino's right here, and she's got to sell advertising.
Absolutely. So, no.
I think that's the CEO, the fall gal he put in charge. No. Oh, okay. Well, here we go.
No. Actually, what
apartheid good.
this advertising boycott is going to do? It's going to kill the company. Is going to do it's going to kill the company.
Let's get another. Can you just give me another awkward little nod, a little?
And
Frog King. Okay. Let me sum up what he's about to say. He's about to say the right-wing backlash from this, because truth means nothing, will mean that I keep the right-wing psychos who are fans of me, and it will hurt these other companies. So because I chose to have a bigoted temper tantrum, because I chose not to be a professional on this thing that I bought, on this platform that I said I would take responsibility for in exchange for taking the profit and the paycheck of the leader of the company. What's going to happen is it's going to die. This thing you were all enjoying using, the thing that millions of people around the world enjoyed as a service, I'm going to kill it. And I think I will escape consequence for that, because the fans of me will stay fans of me, because I've made damn sure that facts mean nothing. So when I go onto another platform, people will still applaud me just for being me. Notice that he very quickly forgets other human beings are involved. He only talks about how he'll escape consequences. He doesn't talk about what any of the people who work for him will go through. He only talks about how he thinks he'll fare. Because this silly fuck is a sociopath.
do you think that
And the whole world will know that those advertisers killed the company, and we will document it in great detail.
But those advertisers, I imagine, are going to say, we didn't kill the company.
Oh yeah.
They're going to say,
tell it to Earth.
But they're going to say, Elon, that you killed the company because you said these things, and that they were inappropriate things, and that they didn't feel comfortable on the platform, right? That's what they're going to say.
And let's see how Earth responds to that.
Breaking news.
Okay, this goes back to
we'll both
Musk
make our
tells
cases.
advertisers to go yourselves. You know, he goes on. He goes on jabbering. Who cares? It's Elon Musk. He's a moron. Let's talk about this. I hear quite frequently. I hear people criticizing the softball interview, like that guy was just giving. What is it, Andrew Ross Sorkin? And I understand. In fact, 10 years ago, I also would have criticized the softball interview. With these people, though, with billionaires, I'm fine with the softball interview. I love any chance we have to get these people to explain their ridiculous wealth. I don't mind a fawning interview. The news lady can be smiling the whole time while she has them walk her through their day. Wow! And so for 3 hours a day, you have crash time. Well, that's fascinating. And then she cuts in with, this is where he goes into a room and comes up with ideas that are so good that apparently they found it fit to give this silly fuck $10 billion. You want to know why Elon Musk acts the way he acts? If you want to know why he looks so nervous, it's because at the end of the day, they know it. That insane look that they all have is that they know they are all it takes to be a billionaire. And they're terrified that you're finding out how small they are. You could be Elon Musk. Any of us could be Elon Musk. With the smallest amount of education. I mean 6 months of on-the-job training. You could do the job Elon Musk does, except you'd do it better because you wouldn't get caught up in silly nonsense. They know that they have made a system that they are benefiting from. And they know that system is killing us. And they are frightened we're finding out. The rat fucks. Good job, Andrew Ross Sorkin. Good job. Thank you for further exposing that these people have not earned the wealth that they have. The question now is, who ought to have that wealth? Guess what? You and me. That's what I think the answer is. If not you and me, then at least a couple of hundred other millionaires who own smaller companies. But definitely not Elon Musk. Because Elon Musk is a fucking elderly child. He's way too old for the mentality that he has. He is a scared child on a playground. He stole all the candy and he has no friends. And the other kids are gathering around asking where the candy is. We're going to take it back. We can do so kindly or unkindly, and I don't care which we choose, as long as we take it back. Because that's why. Let's see what you guys have to say. What you can do, David Packman is covering the debate. He's doing a pre-show right now. Okay. If I can't do it, I will try to watch that. But I'll tell you this, I'm going to try to do it myself. If only out of selfish desire. But I do want to take a whack at it. Donald James X, or housing for the homeless, or health care for all. That's exactly correct. That's what I think should happen. I think Elon Musk should be pretty much a pauper with a mere $500 million to try to, find a way to eke out an existence off of. He should only have the gross domestic product of a country, of a small country, instead of a medium-sized country. He should have merely $500 million with which to try to get by on. And all the rest of that money should pay for schools and roads and scientific innovation. And when you go to a dog park, those little doggy bags that are the little bags for picking up dog dirt that are supplied by the city so that there's not dog droppings on the ground. Those in every park that needs them around America. Instead, those things are empty. The streets have potholes. The schools are underfunded. Teachers are dying from medical issues that they cannot treat because they are too poor. Classrooms are stuffed with too many kids. There's 30 when there should be 20. The cumulative shittiness of our lives is instead what we're dealing with, and it's spent, all that money is instead spent on things like Elon Musk buying Twitter to goof around with for a year and then drive into the ground, ending a bunch of jobs. The miserable motherfucker. I'm shocked that he can show his face in public without security. we should not attack this guy. But the fact that cabbages are not thrown at him shocks me, frankly. The fact that he's not just pelted with rotten fruit everywhere he goes shocks me. Ditto for literally any billionaire. They should be genuinely concerned to show their face in public. They should be screamed at wherever they go. That, I think, being serious, at a minimum, if you see these people in public, tell them they're crooks. Tell them they're thieves. Tell them they're rotten scoundrels. Make their experience being among us uncomfortable. Not dangerous, because we need to make it clear that we are the goodies. We are the good guys. It's the Batman rule, folks. That's basically all you have to do. Well, it's not even the Batman rule. You got to be better than Batman. You got to be nonviolent. That doesn't mean you pretend like they're not thieving from you, that they're not making the world uninhabitable for your grandchildren. I would posit that I would suggest to you, I think that's the correct term, I would suggest to you that you have an obligation to tell them when you come across these thieves in person that they're thieves. If there is a hell, they are going there. You should inform them of this. Marianne McDermott, not acknowledging Elon at all would probably get him more than letting him know he's evil. Nah! No. He'll tell himself that you're just too nervous to talk to him. He'll tell himself that you're just too uninformed to know. He'll smile inside and be like, this fool doesn't know that I took money out of their wallet. I took food out of their children's mouth. This fool has no idea who I am, how brilliant I am. No, especially if you're in the United States, the source of most of the world's problems at present. And I should say, I'm a hell of a lot harsher on the U.S. public, sorry folks, than I am anywhere else. You have an obligation. In the United States, where most of these companies make their homes, you have an obligation. If you see them, call them what they are, which is a see you next Tuesday. And tell them why. And hope that it goes viral. Hope that somebody's recording. Make every time they poke their heads out a horrible experience for them. Don't smile at them while they're thieving from you and burning the world. Literally ending life on Earth with global warming. Don't smile at these motherfuckers. Don't be polite. We're past that. Well past that. If you have any pride at all, if you love your children, your grandchildren, any hope for the next generation, want any respect from the next generation, earn it. At the very least, do not be polite to these punks. I will throw cabbages and go to jail, rightly so, for it. You should not. I will do this because I am a child and not a role model. And I hope I'm speaking to a crowd that is better than me. But acknowledging that I am more of a child than we need people to be, you should use your words. Pick your rudest words and use those. Jake, your curse jar is filling up this evening. I hate billionaires so much, I have trouble seeing straight. But you're right. I'll cool it with the cursing. That's too childish. And frankly, if you need to curse, you're not being creative enough with your vocabulary. So I'll say the same things with words that are not cruel. Elon Musk can fornicate himself with a hot iron. We've got more. Oh, yes. This one from my old pal Foxy. I've been wanting to watch with you live. I think I think I know the story, the details of the story. But I have not seen this video by Raw News and Politics. And I would like to do a genuine live reaction. Raw News and Politics returns to the channel. Thank you very much, Wicked Foxy Dragon, for the suggestion. Hey, rejoice, Republicans. We found voter fraud. Let's have a look at it. We're finally getting to do this.
Everyone, welcome to the show. I have an update for you about a story that I shared a while back. Kim Phuong Taylor is the wife of Republican Jeremy Taylor. He is currently a member of the Board of Supervisors in a county in Iowa, and Mrs. Taylor was just found guilty of dozens of counts of voter fraud.
Ooh.
If you've been following the show for a while, you'll remember this case. Kim Taylor was indicted back in January on 26 counts of providing false information in registering and voting, 3 counts of fraudulent registration, and 23 counts of fraudulent voting after it was revealed that she was surreptitiously completing absentee ballots for other voters without their knowledge or consent. She also aided other people in doing the same thing with their relatives' ballots. Mrs. Taylor did this in the 2020 presidential primary election to try to help Donald Trump win, as well as with her husband.
Presidential primary, Republicans, it shouldn't matter to you. But because you are children, I know that it wouldn't have mattered to you if it was done to Democrats. Because Republican voters, you are immoral. I must point out that it was your own side that she did this to. Now, if you're the average Republican voter, then you're probably in support of Trump anyway. You probably have no sense of right and wrong. All that matters is that your side had somebody working towards your goals. But bear in mind, when Republicans do this, they make it clear that they don't care what you think about anything. Your support is only necessary to them for the time being. When Republicans, for example, cheat on a race that involves other Republicans, like the 2020 primary, they're making it clear that the moment you disagree with what they consider to be your betters, you will be tossed in the camps with the rest of us. You silly you silly fools.
At the time, her husband, Jeremy, was a candidate for the U.S. Congress. He was running against Republican Steve King. So Taylor's husband lost the primary in 2020. However, he was elected to the County Board of Supervisors in the November 2020 general election.
Oh, excuse me, it wasn't even the presidential. How silly of me to assume that they would only that they would reserve their cheating for serious matters. No. This was for her husband. She was cheating in the election for her husband. I assume at her husband's direction. I can't imagine it was done without her husband's knowledge. I wonder if his ass is going to be tossed in jail as well. Probably not.
And Mrs. Taylor committed voter fraud in that election as well. So the prosecutor said that she manipulated others in the Vietnamese community, and she either filled out and signed their ballots for them, or she tricked them into completing and signing their family members' ballots. So, for example, the prosecutor called 2 Iowa students. They testified that when they went to try to cast their ballots, this was in the 2020 primary election, they were informed that their ballots had already been submitted. Their ballots had already been cast. Now, the two students are Democrats, but they were told their ballots were cast for all Republican candidates, including Donald Trump.
So I want to talk to grown-up adults for a moment, genuine, real people, Democratic voters. We can't let these punks get away with it. I would recommend you inform fellow Democrats, anybody who is centrist, anybody who is foolish enough these days to say things like, we need a Republican Party. This is what Republicans are. They can't be trusted. The Republican Party is just a criminal organization. It is all it is. It's all it has been in my lifetime, and frankly, a little bit before that as well. In the late 80s, they had to sign a consent decree that prevented them from putting poll watchers in place because they took the ability of a political party to post poll watchers and used it as an excuse to post armed thugs at the polls to try to physically stop people from voting, to try to do terrorist acts using the threat of intimidation to affect political change. This is a criminal organization, and it needs to be gone. Any step you can take to kick them out, take it. But do not let your less informed fellows say something as stupid as, we need a Republican Party. We need no such thing.
So it was later revealed that their mother, it's a woman named Huang Nguyen, she is friends with Kim Taylor. So Taylor apparently called Nguyen and she asked, hey, do you need any help completing your absentee ballots? So then Taylor went to her house and completed her ballot, and then also the ballot of her children, her two kids. So Nguyen then signed all three, and they were sent in. Now, Nguyen told the jury she had no idea that having Taylor complete her children's ballots where it was illegal, because Taylor apparently told her, oh, no, it's all copacetic, totally good, totally legal, I can do this. And when the
If you're a Republican, or you think you're friends with a Republican, just understand that's what they'll do. They don't give a solitary F about you, your family. They'll involve you in a crime without your knowledge. This is who they are.
FBI reached out to Nguyen and said, we want to know about Taylor and what's going on. Taylor apparently told her to lie to the FBI about what happened. So Nguyen also claims that Taylor told her not to tell her own children what happened with their ballots.
They'll tell you to lie to your children.
Person who testified was 86-year-old Hai Nguyen, no relation, but he also testified, and he told the jury that Taylor went to his house and she took all of the ballots that he had at his house, so people that he was living with too, not just his. And Nguyen said that he signed his own election documents, but he admitted that the ballots of the other people with whom he lives appear to be forged. And according to a local news outlet, the prosecutors called additional members of the Vietnamese community. They also testified against Mrs. Taylor. And they noted that Mr. Taylor was named as an unindicted co-conspirator in his wife's charging documents. The reason being that Mr. Taylor appeared to have knowledge of his wife's activities. So, for example, he was waiting allegedly in the car when she went to pick up some of the ballots from some of these people. And he also made a very suspicious comment to a county sheriff when the sheriff was running for election in 2020. The sheriff was supposed to testify. He ended up not testifying, though. But he apparently told the prosecutor that Mr. Taylor said that he had a, quote, lock on voting in the Vietnamese community. And then Mr. Taylor also allegedly said that if the sheriff made a donation to his campaign, to Taylor's campaign, that Mr. Taylor could secure anywhere between 500 and 700 votes for the sheriff.
If you give me money, I'll give you votes. That's what he said to the sheriff. Did the sheriff then take out handcuffs and arrest him? Let me be kind to our girl here.
Anywhere between
500 and yada yada. That's a crime. He needs to go to prison, not jail, prison for that crime.
500 and 700 votes for the sheriff. So the jury spent 5 hours deliberating. They came back and convicted Mrs. Taylor. She has been convicted on 52 counts of voter fraud. She now faces up to 5 years in prison for each of those 52 counts. Now, as you've all seen with the January 6 cases,
Boom.
it's very rare that the judge orders consecutive terms of imprisonment for each.
Why? I'm sick of that. It's clearly not enough. It is clearly not enough. One thing we can do, one thing I recommend we do, is advocate for consecutive sentencing with these punks. The seriousness of the crime should be reflected in the punishment, and it has not been. We've been pretending like these people could have done this out of ignorance, could have done this not being aware of how serious things were. First-time offenders. Oh, it's just their first time. Oh, they're little babies. No, they knew exactly what they were doing. They were in a position to know how serious this is. They were involved already in the government. Consecutive sentencing from here on out.
Crime, and then they always give first-time offenders a break. So my guess is 1 year max. I know that's infuriating, but that is my guess here. It'll be a joke, right? But based on what we've seen with other cases, always involving Republicans, that is my prediction. And as I always say, Republicans think all Democrats are cheating because they know that that's what they're doing. They know that they are out there casting ballots in other people's names. They're turning in absentee ballots. That's why they don't trust absentee ballots, because they know they're doing it. They think they're these quote unquote good Christians. So yeah, if we're going to do it, of course, the godless libs, the godless left, they have to be doing it. If we good Christians are doing it.
It's so true. I cannot tell you how frustrating it is when I talk with Christians and I hear them say, and I'm sorry, Christians, I acknowledge it's not all of you, but this happens frequently when I talk with Christians who don't consider themselves to be bigoted. They'll say, how can you live without any source of morality? I struggle with moral decisions all the time, and I have God on my side. And their confusion coming from the fact that they've been told and they never question the idea that me, a heathen, I have no morality. Well, when you get a group of those folks who think like that in politics, and they find themselves cheating constantly in order to get into positions of power. She's right. Their assumption is that the other side must be cheating as well. Obviously, there's no way. I mean, look at how awful they think I am. Look at how evil I am. Look at the horrible things I do. Imagine what these godless Muslims and Jews and all the other cabal of people that I see as the other Imagine what they must be doing. And they're terrified. They're simultaneously terrified and frustrated when their accusations without evidence turn up nothing. When they realize just how unpopular they are. That indeed, the reason they need to cheat is because they have bad ideas, and most people think they have bad ideas. Because they're bad people.
So, anyway, I will let you know when Mrs. Taylor is sentenced and how that
Etc. Yeah, Republicans are just a bunch of criminals. The Republican Party is a criminal organization. We should treat it as such. We should be vocal about the fact that they are a criminal organization. Somebody in your group saying they want to join that party, they want to be involved in any way with it, should be informed that they are planning on joining a criminal organization. Not a cool one. Not the mob in the 40s. The mob now. The mob now. A dying organization of swindlers and backstabbers whose only goal in life is to steal from decent people so that they don't have to do genuine work. That's all they do. Mrs. Taylor is going to be sentenced. We should at least voice our opinion that she deserves consecutive punishments. As in, after the first one is served, she then serves time for the next one. And so on and so forth. She should get a harsh punishment. There are 3 reasons why you punish somebody in the criminal justice system. Number 1, justice for those who were the victims of the crime. Number 2, to prevent the perpetrator of the crime from doing it again. And we never talk about this with Republicans, but there is a 3rd reason: to prevent this crime from happening again in the future. The 3rd reason is so that other would-be criminals, other Republicans, look at what happened and think it's not worth it. 4 years in office is not worth potentially 20 years in prison. The seriousness of the crime ought to be reflected in the sentencing. I don't care if this is the first time she ever broke the law. She did so intentionally and maliciously and deserves to rot in a cell for her actions. When I put up the VOD, I will have a link in the description for contacting the court. You should make your opinions on this matter known. Let's see what the Wicked community has to say. Pinkerbell, she defrauded the public. Yes. Logan Hill could miss. I heard the name said a million times, and it's so hard for me. Could miss Nguyen Sue. She could, but that would make it a civil case. That's not good enough. It's not good enough that we have to keep demanding that there be compensation. The demand we should make should not be from the civil courts. We should be demanding that this criminal matter be treated appropriately. The precedent needs to be set. Right now, we are currently in the process of setting a very weak precedent. Everybody who tried to betray our country has gotten a light sentence. And that means in 2024, all of the scum of America will look at the light sentencing that the others got, and they'll decide, am I willing to endure that? Could I do a year in jail? I bet I could do a year in jail, especially if I come out of it and I get a blog and I get a podcast that's popular where I can say, I rebelled. I was a rebel. I did jail time for Trump. I think most people are willing to do jail time for things they genuinely care about. Very few people are willing to do prison time for anything. Prison time needs to be in the discussion. Wicked Foxy Dragon, it shouldn't be considered a first offense if she did it to more than one person. Excellent point. Excellent point. In fact, that's going to be part of my suggestion in the comments. Wicked Foxy Dragon saying, check out what Logan Hill suggested. Alrighty. Let me jump up. Logan Hill. American capitalism going wild. Here, let me get rid of my own thing here. Where is that? Logan Hill. Why even bother with so few false votes? It doesn't change the outcome. Dumb, dumb, dumb. Here's the thing. It does. When they were talking about the sheriff's race, it sure does. Yeah. 500 votes is huge in a sheriff's race. These votes are sometimes like total 2,000, 3,000. It's that little. I realize we are told constantly that in a myriad ways that our votes don't count. They really do. Your vote probably won't single-handedly change the vote for president. It's not likely to come down to just your state and be exactly tied and this way or that, yada, yada, yada. But just your vote absolutely could change who is your sheriff. Who decides how minorities are treated by cops in your community, in other words. Your vote could absolutely, likely will, decide. You'll likely be part of the 10 or 20 people that decide what education your children get because of your school board. Whether or not they're going to be taught that slavery actually happened in America, or there was just a really long internship program for African folks. Your vote will decide that. Ooh, let me go back up. Yes, could Miss Nguyen sue in addition? She could sue in addition, as we stated earlier, but I'm not satisfied with that. Wireless Mike, thank you very much. Logan Hill asked if we could get her on Letterhack. Raw news and politics? Yes. Absolutely we could. I look. I haven't bothered to ask her to come on my show just yet. But Letterhack could apparently get the Lord Jesus Christ. I mean, he's something about this guy. He's very good at booking guests. I bet he could get Raw News and Politics. I bet it would be a really good interview. I'm going to pass along her contact info. I'm also not ready to be mature enough. Like, I will never probably ask Sam Cedar to be on this show. I will eventually ask, like, Matt Binder and some fancier Dans to be on this show. But there has to, like, I have to be willing to do, like, a month of mature-ass content on either side of such an interview, just so that I don't accidentally drag them down with me. So I don't accidentally say, I'm going to go try to strangle Matt Gaetz or whatever nonsense words will come out. I'm not going to try to strangle Matt Gaetz. My hands, I could never disinfect them enough. But that's the only reason. There needs to be enough. I need to have the emotional maturity ready for that. But Matt absolutely could. Absolutely could. and I'll pass along that info. Logan Hill, let's boost Raw news and politics. What comic will he suggest? Yeah, I don't know. I'll tell you this: she in the last 6 months, she picked up a quarter of her subscribers. She's doing really well. She's starting to take off. She's almost at that glorious 50K mark yet. Pinkerbell, don't get yeeted. No. I won't be. I'm enjoying the stage that I'm at. I'm very conscious of the fact that when I get around the 10,000 mark, I lose the ability to say the nonsense that I've gotten away with saying in some cases. I'm going to miss it terribly. And that time is probably going to come whether I resist it or not, just because of the way YouTube works, this time of year is where subscribers pick up. I do want to talk to more of you. I do want to do bigger things. I'm going to miss the ability to fire off at the mouth and talk about what a see you next Tuesday I think some of these people are. Hey, speaking of, in 8 minutes, we are going to have Gavin, whatever, Newsom and DeSantis. Debate, I suppose. Really what it's going to be is DeSantis in sheer terror attempting to pretend like his policies have anything to do with reality. They don't. They're just a series of fashy nonsense, and Gavin Newsom will point them out. I'm seeing a different stream than Brian Tyler Cohen has. Shoot. Gang, I would love to cover this live, but I don't want to do you the disservice of I don't want to do you the disservice of showing you the wrong thing. So let me just be absolutely clear. This is what I've got.
The findings of his report. Which one is it? Am I guilty of a sexual harassment claim or am I not? The report says I'm not. His filing on this expulsion resolution says I am. That is a very serious allegation, one that I sought to see the end of, where the House, the Office of Congressional Ethics, pardon me, sent a referral.
Oh, wow. I'm going to watch this up till I'm sure I don't have the right thing. Why do that to you? Gang, I had a good time tonight, but I don't believe that I have the right stream. So I'm going to end it. I will say this. Here's a link. Brian Tyler Cohen. He's watching it. There's a link. That's where I'm going to watch it. Hopefully I'll see y'all over there or wherever you see it. I'll tell you this. I'm definitely going to talk about it tomorrow. Can't wait. See you then. This has been WYCD Wicked. That stands for What You Can Do.